This is, here you go. This is really not new stuff. All stuff about angles that we've already learned. It's just proving stuff, using all the properties we've done before. Reflexive, just remember something equals itself. For every angle A, angle A is congruent to angle A. Any angle is equal to itself. If angle A equals angle B, then you can flip it. Angle B equals angle A. The transitive property is the same thing. If A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then angle A is equal to angle C. So, we've done these before. In this picture, they tell you that angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. Angle 5 is congruent to angle 3. And angle 1 is 103. What is the measure of angle 3? Now, when we do this in the assignment, we don't need to explain why. Two reasons would work. One is the transitive property. If 1 is equal to 5 and 5 is equal to 3, then 1 and 3 are equal. What's the other reason? Vertical angles are congruent. Okay? So, we've got a few problems like this, and again, in case I forget to tell you, you don't need to explain why, you just need to find the answer. So on this picture here, 4 is congruent to 6, and 6 is congruent to 8. 8 is 77, so obviously we know that's 77, and that's 77. And 2 is also right. Right angle congruence. All right angles are 90 degrees, yes.
Complementary.
And remember, the way they show that is they put a little square in there to show that it's a 90 degree. Complementary and supplementary. Remember the difference?
Supplement is 180.
Supplement's 180, complement's 90. Okay? So, all this says is if 1 is supplementary to 2 and 3 is supplementary to 2, what do you know about these two angles here?
They are congruent.
They're not complementary, they're congruent. Because if we put actual numbers in here, if 1 and 2 are complementary or supplementary, let's say this is 70 degrees, that means this would be 110, right?
Yep.
And if 2 and 3 were supplementary, and that's 110, this has to be 70. There you can see these two would have to be equal then. So, if two angles are supplementary to the same angle, they're equal to each other. Okay, yes, put the iPads away. Complement is the same thing. If 4 is complementary to 5, which means they add up to 90, and 6 is complementary to 5,
4 and 6 are the same.
4 is congruent to 6. Angle 4 equals angle 6.
Should there be land?
Okay? Huh?
Should there be land above people?
Yeah, remember equal and congruent mean the same thing?
So it doesn't matter?
No, not really. Okay, we don't have to do that. Okay, linear pair, we've already learned. Hey, Samantha, put your iPad away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Linear pair is two angles that are adjacent. So adjacent means they share a vertex and a side, and they form a 180. We've learned that before, right?
That'd be S something.
Vertical angles we've learned.
Is this like a review?
This is a review, except it's like in proofs now. Proofs. 1 is congruent to 3 because they're vertical. 2 is congruent to 4 because they're vertical. So, in this picture, angle 3 is a right angle. That's given right there. 5 is 57.
Spot, shut up.
So we can find the measure of the rest of the angles. if this is 57, what else is 57?
2.
2 is 57 because they're vertical. Since 3 is 90, that means these two form a 90, which means you can find angle 4.
Which is 4.
90 minus 57
33.
would be, yep, 33.
What?
And then 1 and 2 or 1 and 5 form a straight line. So together they got to add up to 180. So you just subtract that off of 180. That'd be 123. So in this picture, this one's kind of deceiving. They have it throughout the book. They're not vertical angles because it's not two straight lines. But we can figure out what angle 1 and angle 2 are because this is a straight line. So together those form a 180. So 180 minus 32 is 148 degrees. Then you can do this two different ways. Together they got to add up to 360.
Yeah.
So you could just take 360 and subtract these off, or these two also add up to 180. So you could just subtract 21 from 180, 159. Okay? This we've had before too. Find the measure of each angle. So here they're actually looking for the measure.
So that bottom one.
They're both
What do you know about these two?
equal to 180.
They add up to 180. So 3x minus 17, this angle, plus this angle. Okay,
Ringer.
you got it off? Whoever's
It
doing
was
that?
orange the whole time, so I don't know
Okay.
if it was me or not.
So when you add these two angles together, they got to add up to equal 180.
Like 2.
So again, in geometry, there's only two types of equations. They're either going to equal each other or they're going to add up to equal something. So 3x plus 6x is 9x. Negative 17 plus 8 is negative 9. Equals 180. So we got to add 9 and then divide by 9.
Be 21.
21? So this is one of these where they're not just finding x, they want the actual measure of each angle. So you have to plug 21 in for x. 3 times 21 is 63 minus 17, 46. And then you could either plug it in or just subtract it off of 180. It'd be 134. Okay, so it's not a long assignment again today.